Well, good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How about you, Frank?
Oh, just living the dream.
Awesome. Are you the only one, Frank, or do you have a group?
No, the mayor is here and Michael is here as well.
Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Mayor. And good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
All right, I guess we could get started. We have a quorum. Yes, we have a quorum. Julie, you want to start the recording, please?
This meeting is being recorded and/or transcribed.
Thank you, Julian. Okay, I want to call the meeting to order this morning. This is the Municipal Accountability Review Board. It's December the 3rd, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm Kimberly Kennison. I am designee for Secretary McCaw. With me today is Christine Shaw. She's the designee for Treasurer Wooden. The only opening comments that I have is that I hope everybody had a really nice Thanksgiving holiday. Regardless of the pandemic, I hope that folks were still able to have at least some time with their immediate family. Christine, do you have any other opening remarks for the group?
No, I do not. Thank you, Kim.
Okay. Those that are guests today, it would be helpful if you would put your phone on mute. We do not mute everybody on the call so that we don't get additional background. The next item on the agenda is the public comment period, and at this time I'd like to know if anybody is interested in the public comment, and if so, please state your name and tell me what town you reside in. First, I would like to know how many folks are interested in the public comment period.
You've been muted. To unmute yourself, press *6.
To the next agenda item, which is agenda number 3, and it is the approval of the minutes of November the 5th, and I am looking for a motion, please.
Sal Luciano, so moved.
Thank you, Sal. How about a second?
Tom Hamilton, second.
Thank you, Tom.
Sorry.
We're going to do a roll call, and please let Julian know whether you are in favor of the minutes, opposed, or would you wish to abstain. Julian?
Mr. Luciano? Aye. Mr. Hamilton? Aye. Mr. Felsigno? Aye. Mr. Egan? Abstain. Mr. Brockman? Aye. Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
And Ms. Kennison?
Aye.
Are there any other board members who have joined the meeting that I didn't mention? All right, that's everybody.
Okay. The minutes have been approved. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the City of West Haven. They are on the call today. Julian has provided a subcommittee update, and we did hold a subcommittee on November the 17th. It was a very productive meeting. We had the fire districts in, and we had received pension and OPEB actuary reports. So it was a very good meeting for us to be able to have that data. Julian, would you like to give some highlights of your the subcommittee?
Yes, as Kim mentioned, the subcommittee met on the 17th of November, and the largest agenda items had to do with the fire districts. You have in the update memo that we distributed earlier this week, there's some discussion of the presentation that was provided on their pension valuations and OPEB valuations for each of the 3 districts, except for Allentown, which is still in the process of preparing its OPEB valuation. And I did distribute this morning. There's a reference to an attachment in the memo I sent, and then I neglected to actually include the attachment in the mailing, but I just emailed it earlier this morning. It just summarizes some of the key data points from each of the pension plans and some of the OPEB information. And in the write-up, you'll see, and this is already familiar to most, really all members, is the pension plans are significantly underfunded at this point. There was some discussion about how to address that going forward in the context of the first district, which you can see on the second table of the item I distributed earlier today, that their ADEC is considerably larger than what they have in budgeting for pension costs, and there was talk about potentially stretching out the amortization period, which is currently relatively short at about 15 years, and that would provide at least some budgetary relief and set up a situation where they could manage their ADEC somewhat better and put them in a position at some point to be able to tackle OPEB, which you'll see at the bottom of that handout. Each of the districts is essentially unfunded as far as OPEB goes now, but with pretty considerable accrued liabilities at this point. West Shore does not develop an ADEC for its pension fund. Their approach at this point is to look at the cash flow analyses and setting up a plan to basically pay as you go. They've developed some scenarios where they could level fund their pension contributions and keep up with benefit payouts, and that plan looks like it will allow them to maintain a level funding and meet their obligations. And then Allentown, as the board knows, has been making its ADEC payments, fully funding their contribution, and in the current year has also funded an additional amount above and beyond the ADEC to help knock down the liability. So 3 districts, three pretty different approaches at this point, all in relatively speaking the same position as far as OPEB goes. And then in the written update that was in your package, you'll see some of the other items we talked about. The tri-district MOU is still a work in progress, expecting that to be ratified by each of the districts soon, probably before the next meeting. And then we went through the routine updates on the status of the FY20 audit, the status of remediating some of the findings from the FY19 audit, and the status of the ADP project. So it was a pretty substantive meeting. They all are, but this one there was a lot going on at this meeting.
Thank you, Julian. Definitely. And
You are no longer muted.
at the last meeting, I think we had commented about the ADP project. So in West Haven, I'm going to ask you, Frank, Mayor, also after you give us your monthly update on the financials, if you would please talk about that project, because I heard that things had moved in a better direction, so I think it would be helpful for the MARB to know that. And also, if I don't know if Matt joined us or not from the Board of Ed, because it's always important to hear about the COVID situation in education. So Frank or the Mayor, would you please walk us through your financials?
Good morning, all. So you have the financial report in front of you. We're looking from the revenue side. We are tracking consistent with the last 3 years. We're roughly 45% of expected revenues collected through the end of October. I'm not seeing anything that right now is causing any real concern. We're seeing, hopefully going to be seeing some uptick in the permitting as the building department is trying to push through the backlog that they have. West Haven is experiencing, just as every other town, delays in getting permitting out due to the processes that need to be put into place regarding COVID and precautions around that within City Hall. So revenues, we're not seeing anything that is raising concern at this point. From a tax collection perspective, pure tax collection and not other line items, you'll see that the current year we are at 52% of expected annual taxes. That compares to 52% last year, and an overall average for the past 5 years of 52.3. So again, supporting, always the need to look, but at this point, it's not raising any huge red flags. We'll know more as we get closer to see what any early collections for the January cycle is going to be. From the expenditure side, again, not seeing a lot of issues. We are below the current level last year. That is being driven by the debt service amount. Debt service is down year over year, which of course is a good thing. Payroll-related costs were actually over last year. The police department has been doing some hiring for some vacant positions. So that was actually expected. They are on track. Overtime is up, and we had a separation pay that needed to go out in the first 4 months. We do have a line item in the budget to capture separation pay. So again, not anything that is unexpected. One thing to note is, as you look at the expenditure summary for the multi-year comparison, although it would look that at 35% of the total year compared to 39 roughly for the past 3 years, first blush would indicate that the anticipated year-end number may be a little higher than expected, higher than needed, but I am going to be digging into that, hopefully if I can find 3 or 4 hours to start looking at, now that we've got 4 months of data, to start looking at some timing, see if there's any timing issues around some of these payments, so that is the percentage at 35%, is it low because of timing, or is it low because we should expect to see savings at the end of the year? So I'm hoping to pull together that analysis and be able to provide an update to the subcommittee from that perspective. Other than that, Kim, I think we are tracking in line, not only on the general fund, but we're also tracking within expectations on both the sewer and with Allingtown. So again, nothing out of the ordinary at this point. If anything does come up, of course, we'll make sure to keep everybody informed.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Any update, or is Matt on the line for a COVID update, please?
You may not be on.
Mayor, can you provide any kind of update of what's going on in education relative to COVID?
In education, Kim, I actually did talk to the superintendent, and he was on my department head meeting yesterday. They went to distance learning. They're hoping to get back to some in-person. The reason they did that is because obviously everybody's numbers unfortunately have been up, or most cities, and also because of the concern with Thanksgiving gatherings and things like that. So right now they're doing distance learning, but the superintendent's expectation is they will get back to, as soon as they can, in person with the students. And he's been very good about, whenever it's safe, to maintain the in-person instruction as opposed to the virtual.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
One other item that we didn't speak about, but I know that it has been a topic of discussion, Mayor, could you please just update the MARB on the charter? Because I know that it's in November.
Well, the charter revision failed. It was very close. It was only separated by 400 and some odd votes, but it failed. So in other words, unfortunately, and I was concerned once I had found out that there could only be, because there were so many different changes there, that they could, and everything was intertwined with everything else, that there could only be one question. So I really think it was a great try. I know that the chair of the Charter Revision Committee and the vice chair worked tirelessly day and night, and then trying to do an education thing during COVID, and using Facebook and a mailing, and they tried very, very hard, but it did fail. So that means our charter is still the charter that we have been using, and in the future, we'll see if charter revision is brought back up.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Members of the MARB, do you have any questions for West Haven, please?
Yeah, this is Bob White.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Just to follow up on the subcommittee fire district report, what are, I think for the full board, what are the next steps for the fire districts, and is there any timeline? I thought that they were going to gather with the actuary and each of them try to figure out a plan to address the funding issues, and at the same time try to minimize any tax increases given what the 5-year plan of the city is, so it doesn't exacerbate a problem. What's the program and the timeline?
We don't have a program as of yet, Bob, but those are the next steps. That was just, providing the information. So the next thing that we will be following up with them on is to get them on the agenda for an upcoming subcommittee. I'm not going to say that it's the next one, but
Sure.
And plan accordingly so that they we will start working with them on a plan.
I mean, have they been charged with coming up with a plan? I would suggest that they do so, and then, whatever the timeline is that you and they work out is fine, but the notion of let's just have a series of reports doesn't seem, set up to advance the ball.
Understand. No, we plan to invite them back and ask them to provide us with a plan.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Bob. Any other questions from the MARB for West Haven?
Kim, did you want an update on ADP?
Yes, I would, Frank, please.
Okay, so as you indicated, things are moving forward. We do have an individual that is working on a temporary basis until we fill the full-time position, helping us out with this integration and driving the change leadership throughout the city. She has a lot of background, many years background with both ADP implementations as well as payroll and human resources. So she has been instrumental in helping us move forward. We did make a decision, was it last week?
about.
The go, no-go, yeah.
Yeah.
So we had
Yes.
a go, no-go decision last week. We decided to postpone the go live until February 1st. There were some issues with the data that was coming across out of West Haven systems. And quite frankly, I don't think anyone was comfortable going live just to be able to check a box and then have to go back and try to fix the problems. From a systems perspective, I've designed and implemented enough financial systems to know that just isn't feasible. So we are working still with ADP. We still have many calls each week. The time clocks have been delivered. They are all now labeled, and they have dedicated positions ready to go up. One clock did go online. Our IT department did have one clock go online this week so that they can start doing some testing and find out exactly what's needed to get the other clocks up and running. The expectation is, rather than waiting until the last couple of days, because they will be biometric clocks, rather than waiting and have all employees try to get fingerprints and other information into the clock at the tail end of the implementation, we want to use one or two clocks online, start capturing all that data, get it up into the cloud with ADP system. That way, when it's time to go live, we're ready to go live. And I think from a success factor, again, we felt that delaying it would be best for the city, and so that's the position that we took. I'm comfortable with it. I know the mayor is
Yes.
comfortable with it.
Very comfortable with that.
So we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for that update, Frank. And no, I would agree, if the rules aren't all built and you're having data issues, that I would hold on that. Questions from the MARB members? All right, Julian, anything that you think that we've missed?
No, I think we're ready to proceed.
Very good, thank you. I think that we can move on to the next agenda item, and thank you, West Haven, for joining us and providing us with an update.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
If
Thank
we
you.
don't talk again, have a great holiday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just want to merge and shut it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to talk a little bit more about a couple of things.
Yep. Let me turn
So while we're all here, oh, you know how to do it?
I'm going to
Frank?
turn the internal speakers off.
I know you're going to be on speed dial too.
Yeah, Frank, that's just what you need. You don't have enough hats. There's not enough room on his head for another hat. Break his neck.
We got it there.